welcome back to my channel. Mustafa from K&J Realty, a realtor here in South Jersey. And today, as you're aware from the last video, we talked about the 10 basic steps to buying properties, but it was brief. So today I'm going to talk in details about step number 1 is the income. So with real estate, to buy a real estate, you need to have an income, obviously. So there are different types of income. You could have a W-2 income or a 1099 income. I mean, obviously you can't have cash, but to have a W-2 income, you have to have it for more than a year, and you can't have a big gap before then. So let's say you got a job, let's say in a store or wherever, and you work for a couple months here, you quit, then you got another job a week later and you started, that's fine. But you can't like have a job and then quit and stay without a job for 6 months and then go back to another job and want to count the previous one. So you can't do that. So that's with the W-2. And the other thing you need to know about the W-2 is that if you have been to school, like if you were going to school for like a year and then right after school you started a job, then that year would count because you were a student. So that's about the W-2, and now I'm going to move to the 1099. So with the 1099, it's a little different because 1099 is for those who are considered having their own business or they're independent contractors. And for a lender to give you a loan for that, you need to have 2 years back to back. You can't have gaps. You have to have all like 2 1099s, one per each year. And what they basically do, they take that income for the 2 years, add it up and divide it by 2, and whatever that average income is, what your income is considered, your adjusted gross income. And from that, they do the calculation of how much you qualify for, which in most cases, it's 3 to 4 times as much as what you make per year. And of course, that also has to do with your credit score, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the other thing I wanted you to know is that when you have debt, right? Like let's say you have a car loan and you pay $200 a month for that car, your income now is less than what it is. Like what the income that they take to calculate what you can qualify for is different now that you have that debt. So if you pay $200 for the car per month, you take that and multiply it by 12. So you're basically paying $2,400 a year. So now we have your income minus the $2,400, and then the new income that you come up with is what they use to calculate your income. All right, and again, going back to the credit score, which is point number 2, you have to have a good credit score. I mean, for the lender to trust you, you have to have that good credit score. So I would say 680 plus is decent. I mean, nowadays due to COVID-19, they're a little more strict. So if you're in the 700s, that's great. And I'm just gonna mention a good way to increase your credit quickly, or 2 ways that I've seen in the past. The first way is basically if you have, let's say, a credit card with a limit of $1,000, it's always good to keep a balance of 1/3 the limit. So when you have 1/3 the limit, that you owe 1/3 the limit on the credit card and you make monthly minimum payments, then that would build your credit score very quickly. It would go up very fast. And the other thing, if you have a family member or a friend who's got a decent credit score, they can add you to their credit card account. You will become an authorized user for their credit card account, and you will receive your own card as an authorized user for them. And every time you use that and pay it off, that will also boost up your credit score. Also, under number 2, I mentioned in the previous video that credit score and a down payment. So the down payment is the amount that you need to put down when you purchase the property. It all depends on the loan, but you could go as low as 3% of the loan amount, or the price of the house. So if you're buying a house, or just to keep it simple, for $200,000, then you need $6,000, at least $6,000, plus of course the closing cost, which I will talk later about the closing cost in the next video, but basically the cost that you will pay at closing for the title search, for the appraiser for the house, for all the things that would help you to get the mortgage. Again, I'll talk in details about that. So you could go as low as 3%, and you can also, the other thing that you could do is, of course, pay more. You could do more, you could do however much you want, but the minimum is 3%. But each state and each county in each state have different programs. So sometimes your county would have a program where they would help you for like up to $10,000 to put towards your down payment. So if you're buying a house that's only $100,000, that grant, if you get it, you might be able to walk to closing with $0, which is great. I've done that with some of my buyers and they love it. The only thing when you get a grant like that, you have to stay in the property for 5 years. They have certain things that you have to do in order to qualify for it. So again, with the down payment, you could do as low as 3%, and you could do more than that. You could do as much as 90 or 95%. It depends, right, on the price of the property. And again, there are some grants available. The down payment has to always be verified. So you can't use cash. It has to be, the funds has to come from a verified source. Like if it's your salary, like your paycheck, that's fine. If it's some like some investment from your 1099, that's fine. But you can't just bring cash and put it in the bank and expect them to accept it, because they have to verify each dollar that went into your account. Or if you have money in the bank, if the money's been in the bank for more than 2 months, then you're okay. But if it's less than 2 months, it has to be verified. This is very important, right? Because this could just mess up the whole loan and you can't get qualified for a mortgage. Alright, step number 3. Step number 3, as I mentioned in the previous video, is basically to know how much you can afford and what type of property you're looking to get. So based on your income, like I mentioned, you would be able to tell, like let's say your income is $50,000, then you probably qualify for between $170,000 and $200,000 for a house. And also it varies, it depends on the taxes for the property. How much you can afford, it's all based on your budget, how much you want to pay per month. So if you find out, let's say I want to pay $1,500 per month, what can I afford? So you could calculate that. They have apps and all type of things online where you could tell by this payment will make me be able to get a loan of that much. I will also have a video about just that in the future, but basically know how much you can afford and what you want to pay, so later you're not in a bad position where you can't make your payment. So always take that into consideration. And the other thing is the type of house. So you need to know how many bedrooms, the square footage, how many bathrooms, where, the location, if it's if you want a corner property or not a corner. So close to the highway, close to the shopping centers, you have to take all that into consideration, which lead me to point number 4, which is the area. So always pay attention to the area, what city you want to be in or what town. So from knowing your budget, you will know what areas you can afford. So based on that, you're going to come up with the list of cities that are within your price range, right? So when you're there, that's when you start questioning, does this city have better schools? If you have kids in schools, then you want better schools. So you're going to question it, does this city have better schools, or does that other one have it? And then you also think about, is this one closer to the highway that I take to go to work, or is it far? How far is it to work? So you gotta look into all those details, and Google nowadays, you can find anything on Google, right? So Google it, right, and know all that. And all these 4 points that I mentioned would lead me to the very important point, which is number 5. It is find a good realtor. Great realtor right here, right? So once you have a good realtor, that realtor would tell you all this information. Let's say you talk to them about the income, they would tell you what you can qualify for. The credit score, they tell you what ways to improve your credit. Down payment, they will explain to you what down payment you need and what kind of programs are available in the city. You talk to them about how much you can afford, they would tell you. Like if you tell them I want to pay $1,500 a month, they will tell you what areas you can be in, and then you could choose. So they make the whole process a lot easier. The realtor's job is very, very important and essential in buying a house. A lot of people try to go without a realtor, and I think they're wasting their time, because the realtor would give you the most accurate information and will help you get the best deal possible. To find a good realtor, there are so many different ways. The first one is obviously you go on Google and look up reviews, and then after you do reviews, you find like a couple that you think that they're good in the area where you want to be, then you meet up with them, you interview them, but never work with more than a realtor. Like just pick one out of the list. After you interview all of them, you decide who you want to work with, stick with that one, because working with more than a realtor could have some legal effect later on you and the realtor that you're working with currently, or the one that actually helped you buy the house. So again, always work with one realtor. So that's it for today. Those are the 5 things. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like me, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see the links right before the video and after the video. Again, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos with more real estate details. Thank you and have a good day.